All right, readers, welcome back to Book to Read.
Yes! Welcome back, everyone.
For episode 42, we're diving into
The universe.
Dune.
Oh, yeah!
Dune by Frank Herbert. Now, this book has everything.
It does.
Warring families,
Uh-huh.
a desert planet with secrets,
Also secrets.
and a young man who might just be
The Kwisatz Haderach.
a prophesied messiah. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride.
It is. What's fascinating about Dune is how it goes beyond just a sci-fi adventure. It
Yeah.
makes you really think about
All the complexity,
our ecology.
destiny, free will.
It's all in there.
Okay, so first let's paint a picture of Arrakis.
Yes.
It's this brutal desert planet. Water is more precious than gold, and giant sandworms rule the dunes.
They certainly do.
But the real prize is the spice melange, the substance that's basically the oil of the Dune universe.
Yes, and that's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
The control of spice production gives you control over interstellar travel.
Oh, wow.
The economy, even politics. It's like holding the keys to the entire galaxy.
Wow.
Yes.
So enter the Shawam Company, this massive corporation
Masses.
that basically has a monopoly on spice. Makes you wonder, with that much influence,
Right.
are they really just a company, or are they pulling the strings from behind the scenes?
That's the thing about power. It can be so subtle,
Uh-huh.
so pervasive. Shawam's influence touches every aspect of life in the Imperium,
Wow.
even dictates the fate of entire planets.
Really?
Like when House Atreides is given control of Arrakis, a move orchestrated by their enemies.
The Harkonnens.
The Harkonnens, yes.
With Shawam's tacit approval.
Oh, yes.
See, that's where things get juicy.
They do.
House Atreides, led by Duke Leto.
Uh-huh.
Seems like this noble family trying to do right by their people.
They do.
But knowing the Harkonnens, who are known for their ruthlessness,
Yes.
you have to wonder, was the Duke naive to think he could survive on Arrakis?
Well, Duke Leto was a man of honor, bound by tradition and duty.
Right.
But he also had ambition.
I see.
A desire to break free from the Emperor's control and build something new on Iraq. He saw potential in the planet, in its people, the Fremen. Perhaps he believed he could forge a new path, one that defied the traditional power structures.
Wow.
Yes.
And then there's Lady Jessica,
The Duke's concubine.
mother of their son Paul.
Yes.
She's a Bene Gesserit, which is basically
An order of women.
with mental powers and political savvy.
Oh, yes.
That would make Machiavelli jealous.
Oh, absolutely.
They're playing a long game, these Bene Gesserits,
For centuries.
with a breeding program aimed at producing the Kwisatz Haderach, a super being who can access genetic memory.
And unlock incredible powers.
Their methods are often shrouded in secrecy,
And manipulation.
influencing bloodlines for centuries, all in the pursuit of this ultimate goal.
Exactly.
And young Paul.
Well,
He seems to be right in the middle of their grand plan.
he does.
Right from the start, Paul is put through this terrifying test.
By a Reverend Mother.
A test that's all about facing your deepest fears. It makes you wonder, what does it say about Paul that he passes this test? Is it a sign of greatness? Or is it a warning of the dangers to come?
It's a pivotal moment, that test with the Gum Jabbar. It reveals Paul's potential, his strength of will, but it also foreshadows the immense pressure and responsibility he will face. Remember, the Bene Gesserit are playing a very dangerous game, one with galactic consequences.
Speaking of dangerous games, are you tired of losing track of your reading lists?
Oh, I know I am.
Wishing you could share those mind-blowing quotes with fellow bookworms?
Me too.
Well, fear not, dear listeners, because we've got just the thing for you.
We do.
We do.
Tell me more.
Okay, so I'm sure you're all familiar with Bookspace,
Oh, Bookspace?
the revolutionary app
For book lovers.
for book lovers. Think of it as your personal library in your pocket, a place to connect with like-minded readers,
Yes.
share your literary adventures,
Uh-huh.
and even organize those never-ending TBR piles.
Oh, it's the best for that. Seriously, Bookspace is a game changer. It's like having a community of book nerds at your fingertips, ready to discuss plot twists,
Oh, yeah.
debate character motivations,
Yeah, absolutely.
and help you discover your next literary obsession. Plus, it's got this awesome feature where you can track your reading progress,
I love that feature.
share your favorite quotes,
Yes.
and even get personalized recommendations based on your taste.
So if you haven't already, download Bookspace today and join the conversation.
Yes.
Trust me, your reading life will thank you for it.
Absolutely.
Now back to the treacherous sands of Arrakis.
All right, so House Atreides knows it's a trap.
They do.
This whole Arrakis deal, they're walking into the lion's den,
Right.
knowing the Harkonnens are lurking in the shadows.
Uh-huh.
But they go anyway. Why? What's so important that they're willing to risk everything? Duke Leto saw a chance to break free from the Emperor's control, to build a power base independent of the traditional power structures. He saw the potential in Arrakis and its people, the Fremen, who have adapted to the harsh desert and hold secrets the Imperium has long ignored.
Speaking of the Fremen,
Yes.
they're a fascinating bunch. They've got this whole water discipline thing,
Oh, yeah?
treating every drop as sacred. It's a stark contrast to the wasteful practices of the Imperium, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The Fremen's reverence for water highlights the scarcity of resources on Arrakis and the ingenuity they've developed to survive in such a harsh environment. It's a stark reminder of the Imperium's decadence, their disconnect from the natural world.
Right.
This difference in values, this clash of cultures is going to play a huge role in the events that unfold.
And then there's the Fremen's messianic prophecy. The Lisan al-Gaib, this belief that a leader will come and change their world. It's almost like a mirror to the Bene Gesserit's Kwisatz Haderach prophecy.
Right.
Isn't it? Like these two forces are converging on Arrakis, each with their own agenda.
The intertwining of these prophecies sets the stage for Paul's journey. Is he the Fremen's savior, or a pawn in the Bene Gesserit's game? Or is he perhaps both? These are the questions that drive the narrative and force us to confront the complexities of fate and free will.
But before Paul can even begin to grasp his potential destiny, disaster strikes.
Oh no.
The Harkonnens launch a brutal attack,
So brutal.
aided by a shocking betrayal from within House Atreides.
Oh, a betrayal.
Duke Leto is killed, and Paul and Lady Jessica are forced to flee into the deep desert,
Oh no.
seeking refuge with the very people the Imperium has long sought to control, the Fremen.
The Harkonnen betrayal is a turning point in the story. A moment that shatters the illusion of order and exposes the brutality that lies at the heart of the Imperium's power. It forces Paul and Jessica to confront the harsh realities of Arrakis, to abandon the comforts of their noble upbringing and embrace the unknown.
It's almost Shakespearean. This fall from grace,
Yes.
this descent into a world of survival and uncertainty. What do you think? Does this experience break Paul and Jessica? Or does it forge them into something stronger? Something more adaptable?
That's the beauty of Dune. It doesn't offer easy answers. It challenges us to consider the transformative power of adversity, the way hardship can reveal hidden strengths and reshape our understanding of the world.
And on that note, I think we've earned a little break.
Yeah.
But don't worry, dear listeners. We'll be back soon to delve deeper into the mysteries of Arrakis,
Oh, yes.
the Fremen culture, and the rise of Muad'Dib. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dives into Dune. When we left off,
Oh, yeah.
Paul and Jessica were facing a whole new world
A whole new world.
of danger and uncertainty in the deep desert. It really makes you appreciate
All right.
the sheer resilience of the Fremen, surviving on Arrakis,
Yeah.
while the Imperium just sees it as a resource
What's a resource to exploit?
to exploit.
It's more than just survival, wouldn't you say? Oh, absolutely. The Fremen have this intricate understanding of Arrakis.
Right.
A connection that goes far beyond just extracting spice. They've adapted to its rhythms,
Yeah.
learned its secrets, and even harnessed the power
Oh, wow.
of its most fearsome creatures.
The sandworms.
Right, the sandworms. Imagine these colossal creatures,
Colossal.
these shai-hulud,
As the Fremen call them.
bursting from the sand.
They're terrifying, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
There's also this strange beauty, this sense of awe. The Fremen don't just fear them,
No, they don't.
they revere them.
Their relationship with the sandworms speaks to a deeper understanding of the ecosystem. They don't see these creatures as monsters, but as integral parts of a delicate balance. And their ability to ride the sandworms.
Oh, yeah.
That's not just mastery, it's symbiosis. They've learned to coexist with a force that could easily destroy them.
It's like they've tapped into the very essence of Arrakis, this desert power that flows through everything. It makes you wonder if the Imperium, with all its technology and might, has actually missed the point entirely.
That is a fascinating observation. The Imperium views Arrakis through a lens of exploitation, focused on extracting spice at any cost.
Yeah.
The Fremen, on the other hand,
Yeah.
they see it as a living entity, a source of both danger and sustenance.
It's a stark contrast in values.
It is.
And I think it sets the stage for the conflict that's brewing.
Right.
You've got the Fremen fighting for their survival and their way of life.
Right.
And then you've got the Imperium driven by greed
Yeah.
and this insatiable hunger for power.
And caught in the middle of it all
Yeah.
is young Paul Atreides,
Right.
grappling with his own identity and a destiny that seems to be pulling him in two directions.
Two directions.
On the one hand, he's the son of Duke Leto, heir to a legacy of power and responsibility. But on the other hand, he's being drawn into the Fremen culture, their prophecies, their fight for freedom.
And let's not forget his mother, Lady Jessica.
Oh, Lady Jessica.
She's playing a dangerous game, too. Balancing her loyalty to the Bene Gesserit with her fierce love for her children.
She is.
She made a choice defying her order to bear a son, a choice that set Paul on this extraordinary path.
It's a choice that echoes throughout the story. This tension between following a predetermined path
Right.
and forging your own destiny.
Yeah.
Lady Jessica chose love over obedience, and now she must navigate the consequences of that choice in a world that is rapidly changing around her.
And as Paul is accepted by the Fremen, undergoes their rituals,
Right.
and learns their ways, we see him changing, becoming more than just the Duke's son. He's becoming Muad'Dib,
Muad'Dib.
a leader, a warrior, a symbol of hope for the Fremen.
He's embracing this new identity, but it's not without its challenges. The Water of Life ceremony, for example,
Right.
is a pivotal moment in his transformation. It unlocks his latent abilities, enhances his prescience, but it also exposes him to immense power.
Wow.
To visions of possible futures that are both exhilarating and terrifying.
It makes me think about the burden of leadership,
Yes.
the weight of knowing that your choices could impact the fate of millions. Paul is just a young man, yet he's being thrust into a role that demands wisdom beyond his years.
And that's what makes Dune so compelling. It's
Yeah.
not just about political maneuvering or epic battles. It's about the human cost of these conflicts, the individual stories that are often overshadowed by the grand sweep of history.
And speaking of individual stories, let's talk about Stilgar,
Stilgar.
the Fremen naib who becomes Paul's mentor. He's a tough, pragmatic leader,
He is.
but he's also fiercely loyal to his people and their way of life. He sees something in Paul, a potential to bring about real change, but he's also wary
Oh, he's wary.
of the power Paul represents.
Stilgar embodies the Freeman spirit, this blend of practicality and spirituality, a deep connection to the land, and a willingness to fight for what they believe in. He recognizes the threat the Imperium poses to their very existence, but he's also cautious, aware of the dangers of prophecy, and the potential for even the most well-intentioned leaders to become corrupted by power.
It makes their relationship so fascinating.
It does.
It's a partnership built on respect and necessity, but there's also an undercurrent of tension, a sense that their goals might not always align perfectly.
It's a reminder that even in the face of a common enemy, alliances are fragile things.
Yeah.
Trust must be earned, and even then, there's always the potential for betrayal or misunderstanding.
And then there's Chani,
Oh, John.
the Fremen woman who captures Paul's heart. She's strong, independent, and deeply connected to the Fremen way of life. She sees Paul not just as a leader, but as a man, a partner in their shared struggle.
Chani represents a different kind of power, a grounded feminine strength that contrasts with the often brutal and masculine power struggles of the Imperium. Her love for Paul is a humanizing force, a reminder that even in the midst of chaos and conflict, there's still room for compassion and connection.
Their relationship adds a layer of emotional depth
Yes, it does.
to the story, reminding us that even in a world of political intrigue and galactic empires,
Right.
it's the personal connections,
Yeah.
the bonds of love and loyalty that ultimately matter most.
It also challenges the traditional power dynamics, highlighting the strength and resilience of Fremen women. They are not simply wives or mothers, they are warriors, leaders, and keepers of their culture's wisdom.
As Paul delves deeper into the Fremen culture, he begins to understand the true cost of the Imperium's exploitation. He sees the ecological devastation, the suffering of the Fremen, and the potential for Arrakis to be so much more than just a source of spice.
This realization is crucial to Paul's transformation. It's not just about personal power or fulfilling a prophecy, it's about fighting for justice, for a better future for the people of Arrakis. He begins to see the potential for change, for a world where the Fremen can finally control their own destiny.
But with his newfound purpose comes a dangerous realization. The only way to achieve true freedom for the Freemen might be through violence.
Oh,
through a jihad
Eddie.
that could engulf the entire galaxy.
Wow.
It's a heavy burden
It is.
for a young man to carry, the weight of knowing that his actions could have such far-reaching consequences.
That's the dilemma at the heart of Dune.
Right.
Can good intentions justify violence? Is it possible to achieve peace through war? Paul is wrestling with these questions, grappling with the potential costs of his destiny. And as his power grows, so does the potential for destruction.
It seems like a classic hero's journey,
It does.
but with a much darker twist.
Yes.
Paul's path is paved with good intentions, but the road ahead is fraught with danger. Makes you wonder, is he truly in control of his fate? Or is he simply a pawn in a much larger game? A game that might ultimately consume him?
Those are the questions that keep us turning the pages,
Yes.
that challenge us to confront the complexities of power, choice, and the unintended consequences of even the most well-meaning actions.
And speaking of unintended consequences, the Emperor is about to get a very rude awakening. He's on his way to Arrakis with his formidable Sardaukar army,
The Sardaukar.
ready to crush the Fremen rebellion and reassert his control over the spice flow. He has no idea the storm that's brewing,
Oh no.
the force that Paul Atreides has become.
The stage is set for an epic confrontation, a clash of ideologies and military might that will determine the fate of Arrakis and send shockwaves across the galaxy.
This is where it gets really interesting, folks.
I know, right?
The underdog versus the Empire, a fight for freedom against tyranny, and a young man grappling with a destiny that could either save the galaxy or destroy it. We'll be back soon to dive into the final act of this epic saga. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We're back on Arrakis, and the tension is, oh man, thicker than spice dust in a sandstorm.
You can cut it with a crysknife.
The Emperor has arrived
Has.
with his elite Sardaukar warriors, ready to reclaim control and teach those rebellious Fremen a lesson.
Oh boy.
He thinks it's just another planetary squabble.
Typical.
But he's about to learn that underestimating Wadib is a fatal mistake.
The Emperor's arrogance, it's palpable.
It is.
Surrounded by pomp and ceremony.
Yeah.
Used to wielding absolute power,
Right.
he sees the Fremen as primitive. A nuisance to be crushed.
Yeah.
He just doesn't understand
Right.
the deep connection they have to Arrakis, the strength they derive from their environment, their beliefs.
Yeah. And he definitely doesn't grasp the power Paul has tapped into.
Oh no.
This prescience that lets him see the threads of the future.
Yeah.
It's like he's playing chess while the Emperor is still setting up checkers.
But even with prescience, there's a burden, you know.
Right.
A weight of knowing the potential outcomes.
Yeah.
Paul sees the path to victory, but it's paved with bloodshed,
Oh, wow.
sacrifice. The jihad he's unleashed is a force of liberation. Yes.
Right.
But it also carries the potential for unimaginable destruction.
It's a moral tightrope walk.
It is.
Even with the best intentions, wielding that much power
Right.
can lead to unintended consequences.
Yes.
It makes you wonder, is Paul truly in control? Or is he being swept along by forces beyond his comprehension?
That's the question that hangs over the entire story.
I know, right?
Is Paul shaping the future? Or is he being shaped by it? He's trying to navigate this path to balance the needs of the Freemen with the stability of the Imperium.
Right.
But the line between savior and tyrant
It's so thin.
is razor thin.
And then the battle explodes.
Oh, yeah.
The Freemen riding sandworms?
Wow.
Wielding their krisk knives?
Uh-huh.
They're like a desert whirlwind.
A force the Sardaukar have never encountered.
It's not just a fight for land or spice.
Right.
It's a fight for their very survival, their culture, their way of life.
It's a clash of civilizations, and the Freemen, with their deep knowledge of the desert, their guerrilla tactics, they turn Arrakis itself into a weapon.
Wow.
The Sardaukar, trained for conventional warfare, they're completely outmatched.
But victory comes at a price.
It always does.
We see the cost of war, the loss of life, even among Paul's closest allies.
Yes.
It's a reminder that even in the face of triumph, there's always a sense of sorrow,
Yes.
of what could have been.
Herbert doesn't shy away from the brutal realities of conflict.
He doesn't.
He shows us the sacrifices made, the moral compromises, the scars that remain even after the fighting ends.
Yeah.
It's a powerful message, reminding us that even the most righteous cause can have devastating consequences.
In the end, the Emperor is defeated, his forces scattered, his grip on Arrakis broken. Paul ascends to the throne, marries Princess Irulan, seemingly fulfilling the Fremen prophecy and securing their freedom. But oh man, you can feel the weight of the future pressing down on him.
It's a victory, yes, but it's a bittersweet one.
Right.
Paul has become what he was destined to be, the Emperor Muad'Dib, but at what cost? The jihad is still raging, threatening to consume the galaxy.
Wow.
He's traded one form of tyranny for another, and the path ahead is shrouded in uncertainty.
It's that ambiguity that makes Dune so powerful. It's not a simple story of good versus evil, of heroes and villains.
No.
It's a complex exploration of power, destiny, and the human condition. It leaves us with more questions than answers.
Right.
And that's what makes it a masterpiece.
Exactly. It's a book that stays with you long after you've finished the last page. It challenges your assumptions, makes you question the nature of leadership, the allure of power, and the delicate balance between ambition and compassion.
And that, my friends, is what a truly great book should do.
I agree.
It should make you think, feel, and question the world around you. Dune does all that and more.
It does.
If you haven't read it yet, I urge you to add it to your list.
Definitely.
And if you have,
Yeah.
maybe it's time for a reread.
Well, reread is always a good idea.
There's always something new to discover in its depths.
Absolutely. And don't forget to share your thoughts on Bookspace. Connect with other readers, discuss your favorite moments, and see how your interpretations align. Who knows, you might even spark a new debate or discover a perspective you hadn't considered before.
That's the beauty of a book like Dune. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
It is.
A story that invites you to engage with its themes, its characters, and its message.
Right.
Long after you've closed the book.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this epic journey, dear listeners.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into Frank Herbert's masterpiece. Until next time, keep those pages turning.
Keep reading, everyone.